We know there are many choices in internet radio, and the staff and host of LA Talk Live would like to thank you for choosing the internet's hottest destination for the most eclectic sound and invigorating talk. This is LA Talk Live. We are more than just talk.
I may not be a millionaire. I may not have a brand new Frigidaire. My clothes ain't all fancy, and my car ain't brand new. But there is joy in my house.
Welcome, everybody, to Joy in My House, an inspirational reality radio show where nothing is left unsaid.
And no one is insignificant who says it.
It's an inspirational reality radio show where we feature special guests, artists, businessmen, and women that have kept Christ in the center of their lives. This show was developed to bring inspirational people that God has touched in their lives and have given back. And we want to welcome all of you listeners and callers out there to engage with us. If you have any questions or comments, join us. Be a part of our joy in our house. Today we have a special guest,
Yeah.
a very special guest. And I'm joined here in-house right now with my co-host, Lolita Robinson.
Hello, how are you, everybody?
I hope you all had an amazing and thankful and grateful Thanksgiving Day. I know I did.
I did too. It was really nice. It was very special. Did you do a lot of things, or a lot of food, or what?
You know, this was a simple one for me,
Mhm.
and it was kind of nice. My puppy was kind of my priority
Okay,
because it's
all
at
right.
home alone. I don't want it to destroy the house.
Oh, you know.
So we always have Thanksgiving at my grandmother's house.
Okay.
And she has Alzheimer's right now, so it's a little
wow.
difficult right now.
Okay, yeah.
So we didn't
yeah.
want to make it too overwhelming, but at the same time, let her
Yeah,
know that
keep it going.
Yeah. So the family did get together.
Glad.
So it was nice, but
Mhm.
more than anything, I was grateful.
Yeah.
I was grateful, for my children's health, for my dog behaving,
Okay.
and also just for the peace that I have, the joy that I have.
Yeah.
Like the whole premise of the show is joy in my house, and I have a lot of joy in my house.
That's right. Yeah. For me too. I'm glad that Osama was with us last week. It was kind of hard when he went home. I
Was it?
missed him. And like you said, it's blessed we have joy in our hearts, but that does not mean that we don't have trials and things.
That's right.
It was a
Doesn't
little
mean we're not
difficult for
challenged.
us. We were celebrating, and my younger brother died last year of cancer, and so all of us as a family got together. We celebrated, but it was, we're trying to find our.
Sometimes bittersweet.
It's
Sometimes
bittersweet, like you said, your grandmother with Alzheimer's. So that's why we want to encourage the audience to call in, and we're finding joy in the midst of struggles. And
Yeah, and if you're just joining us today, we want to thank you for being part of our audience and our
Mhm.
listeners and our viewers out there. And we want to thank you for all the support and love. We've been getting a lot of Facebook add-ons and
Mhm.
tweets.
yeah,
You can join us on facebook.com/joinmyhouse. You can tweet us directly at twitter.com/joinmyhouse, or you can tweet the station here at LA Talk Live on twitter.com. I did want to mention and do a small recap. Osama Fifi joined us last week, which co-produced Lolita's album
my two
Changes,
CDs. Yeah, he did.
and
yeah.
your first CD, Lolita,
Yeah, he did.
self-titled Lolita.
Mhm.
What a great testimony to longevity
Yeah.
in the music industry.
And he was really excited about doing the show. I mean, sometimes I think you need to sit back and recap and look at where your life's been. I mean, a lot of times we feel like maybe we haven't accomplished what it is that we want to accomplish.
Right.
But by him going through what God has done in his life, he was able to see he had a pretty rich life.
He,
You
I'm,
know?
well, I'm glad we were able to assist in
Yeah.
that because he did. And I think it touched a lot of people.
As a musician, that's right.
As a musician, I
Mhm.
mean, he does have endurance. I mean, he does have his stamina and
Right.
he has momentum, which has carried him for many, many years and has worked with amazing people.
Yeah, he has. I missed him, which,
Well, including you. So I'm,
yeah,
I'm happy.
Thank you.
I'm happy to have had him because that's how we met. Because if he wasn't living in Fullerton, California,
Yeah, I
you
would have
and me
never
would've
met you. I've never met you. That's right.
So what a blessing. God
What a
puts those
blessing.
people
Yes,
in
he
our lives.
does. And so we got a new blessing today. I can't wait.
Yes, today we are joined. We have an in-studio guest by her name, Debbie Magginson. Now, Debbie is the founder and CEO of a charity called Project Cuddles, as seen on the Ricky Lake Show and recently seen on The Talk. She has friends with Oprah. I mean, she has really have she really has a great charity, and we're going to bring her on board after this intermission, so you're not going to want to
No,
tune
really.
out. Stay tuned. We're going to take a quick commercial break now. We want to thank you for being part of our audience. If you're just coming out of service and you're able to join us, we welcome you. We welcome your calls, your tweets. We're going to take a quick intermission break, quick commercial break. We need to pay some bills, and we're going to have Debbie on with
That's
Project Cuddles.
Hey, come on back.
I'm always in one of mine. Constant spins, not trusting. He opens doors to go in, but I'm afraid to depend upon him. I bring him ashes for gold. He starts to work, I put him on hold. Still he's faithful to me, 'cause he's blind as to see. I'm praising God, praising God. I'm praising God, praising God. I'm praising God, praising God. I'm praising God. Oh, I'm praising God. He's all to me, my life, my love. He sets me free, I love him any time of day. I close my eyes and I can pray to Jesus. Come and follow me, I'll make you whole if you serve me. It is you and me in eternity. I'm praising God.
Hi, this is Susie Pruden. And yes, you've seen me on Oprah, Good Morning America, and The Today Show. And I'm inviting you to join me every Monday from 3 to 4 for my new show, Mastermind Live. Join us as we introduce you to the new thought leaders of the world who will inspire you, support you, and guide you to your next level. So don't forget to tune into Mastermind Live exclusively on latalklive.com. You can also catch us on iTunes Radio R&B or watch us on Ustream TV. Reality radio handcrafted for your listening pleasure. This is LA Talk Live, and we are more than just talk.
Hey everybody, this is Richard Carr inviting you to join me in the radio boardroom for the new Entrepreneurs Weekly Summit in my all-new day and time. That's right, the new Entrepreneurs Weekly Summit is moving to Mondays at 5 p.m. Pacific. So don't forget, the new Entrepreneurs Weekly Summit, now Mondays at 5 p.m. Pacific, exclusively here on LA Talk Live, where it's more than just talk. We'll see you there.
I'm always in one of mine. Constant spins, not trusting. He opens doors to go.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, back to Joy in My House. I'm joined here by my co-host, Lolita Robinson.
Hi, everybody. Glad to be here.
Contemporary Christian singer, author of Shaped by the Master's Hands, and her new album is out, Changes, on lrcministries.com. Now, we're joined here by our in-studio guest, Debbie Magnuson. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great. How are you all?
We're doing good. It's great to have you.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Now, if you don't know Debbie, Debbie has been on the Ricky Lake Show and has also recently come on the talk. She has a great charity called Project Cuddles, and I met Debbie
Yeah, how did you guys meet?
through a business associate of mine who's a photographer and a videographer by the name of Miguel Pola. He does great work.
photographer.
Yeah, and he's actually worked with you. So I met him at a breakfast business meeting, and we were just sitting there and we were talking. And they were talking about their industry of photography, and it was very interesting because I have no idea about photography. So it was very interesting. And then, he said, "What do you do?" And I said, "Oh, I host a inspirational reality radio show and I bring inspirational guests." And he's like, "I know somebody very special that might be a great fit for your show." And I was like, "Who?" He's like, "Debbie." I go, Debbie. He just told me Debbie.
Yeah.
Like I would know you personally. And then he says, the young lady that was on the Ricky Lake show, the young lady that was just recently on the talk. And I was like, and then he mentioned your charity, Project Cuddles. And I was like, wow, from Project Cuddles, I would love to have her on board. And sure enough, we got in contact together through Miguel, and now you're here on the show. Thank you for joining us.
Well, thank you. It's a nice little break out of my day to be able to, it's like having others helping save babies while I'm here with you. So I appreciate the break. Thank you.
So does Miguel do all of the your work for your photos, or what? How do you know Miguel?
Miguel has been wonderful. He has been a volunteer, I think, for about 8 or 9 years now, volunteering to do photo shoots for us. A friend of mine, John Stamos, he, it's like you get people that want to take pictures all the time, but someone that he is comfortable with and confident knowing that the integrity of the pictures are there, and does an exceptional job. So he's always, like for our new calendar that we just have out, that's for our fundraiser for Project Cuddle.
Which we're going to talk about later on in the show.
He did probably, I think, 17 of the photos.
Oh, really? It's beautiful.
For the calendar. And he just volunteers his time. And so he'll meet with the girls that are pregnant, and he'll meet with those that are brand new, fresh out of the oven babies. So he's been great.
So now you can give Miguel a plug.
Yeah,
I would have known that. See,
definitely. And he was very passionate speaking about you, Debbie, even just as a personal friend. He said the things that you do are very amazing. So let's hear a little bit about your history, your family origin. Where did you grow up?
I was born in Pasadena, raised in Newport Beach, California. And my father is a dentist.
Oh, okay.
When I was young, when I was 8 years old, he took me to Mexico, and I held a bowl while he pulled the teeth of the orphans to help them. And then I sorted socks, and then
in the orphanage?
In the orphanage, and then I sat down with the orphans and had raccoon stew. I can't say I liked it, but you eat every bite because everything is so sparing there.
And how old were you at the time?
I was 8 years old.
8, yeah.
And when he took me there, I learned a whole new world, and I realized what an orphan was, and they have no mommy and no daddy and no one to love them. And I said, someday that's what I'm going to do when I grow up. I am going to help save babies so they don't get put in trash cans and dumpsters. And so eventually that was always my vision and my dream. And now I have been saving babies for 16 and a half years. I actually was a foster mom. I fostered 35 drug-exposed babies first.
Oh, my
Had
goodness.
2 original models that I made, and then adopted 5 of those that were foster children. So I have 7 children.
So you did this before the
charity.
organization, the charity?
Yes,
evolved?
because I thought I was going to be a foster mom and I was going to get those babies that were abandoned, but I didn't. They were all drug-exposed babies back in the 80s and 90s, and so then
that was
after-
preparing you.
He was,
because we think you're going to walk right in. Look how that,
exactly, and it was my training, my basic training for what I do today.
Right.
So when we do work with girls that have given birth to babies that were exposed to drugs, so we can give training to the adoptive families as well as to helping the girls going through, we have one that just went through heroin withdrawals and one for meth, and it's like we don't judge them. And
that's what
so
I'm hearing
important.
in you. It seems like you love the mothers too.
Yes, we do.
And that's important. They don't feel
exciting.
judged.
Yeah, so I basically, in July of 1996, out of the corner of my living room with all 7 kids running around, started a toll-free hotline after hearing about one too many babies being suffocated in just the next town over, and said, I have to do something. And so I did, and we got 1-888-TO-CUDDLE, or 1-888-628-3353. Within 12 hours of opening that hotline, we had our first call, and a woman said, I hate this baby. I was raped. I'm due any day. Figure something out, or I'm putting it in the park when it's born.
Oh,
and,
my goodness.
we literally picked her up, and 4 days later, I was coaching in the birth of the baby in a hospital.
This is the first child. This
First
is the first
child.
one.
It was much bigger than I thought. I thought it was just going to be, we would find the place where she had placed the baby, get the authorities out there, and go from there. But that wasn't what happened. It was much bigger, and God had a bigger plan. And so not only did we save the baby, but we made a family, and we kept the woman from breaking the law. And she actually said to me after giving birth, for the first time, I feel like I've done something I am proud of. And it's like,
Oh,
Wow.
that's incredible.
What an amazing story.
Well, just to go back a little bit, so you just got the idea to set up the hotline, and you just decided, okay, I'm watching the news and I saw the babies being suffocated.
Yeah,
so
when did you find
yeah.
out that this was in your heart? When was the time that you felt
When I
like-
was 8 years old.
Oh,
Yeah.
From
okay.
the
You
time
said
I
that
was 8
earlier.
years old, we'd be driving on the freeway or something, and I would literally sit there and see a box and wonder, could there be a baby in there? I mean, that's not normal. It was, it was
So
it
it
was
was
a God
put on
thing.
your
It
heart
was-
early on.
It was there, and I just always knew. And then when I got married, I said, now I only want to have 2 children, and then I want to foster or adopt, and he agreed that's what he wanted to do too. So it was just a given.
It's a
that
real
It was
given.
just the timing of when it was right, and we found it. It works.
Wow.
So then you started with the phone calls. I mean, you set up the hotline.
We started the hotline, and then eventually, within 2 weeks, we went national.
Okay.
We had our second call after
Wow.
being on an NBC show, and the woman was having contractions. She was at a payphone. It was her 8th child. She had nowhere to go and didn't want anyone to know that she was pregnant again. So we were able to help her in finding an adoptive family through an agency. But now 50% of the girls do end up keeping their babies. If they're kicked out of their home or they have no prenatal care, we'll help them in getting those resources so that they can raise that child if they do love that child. But we have girls that will tell us, I hate my baby. And we tell them we're not going to judge them. We just don't want them to break the law, get in trouble,
Right.
and no one has to know their secret.
That's awesome. That's incredible.
That's an amazing ministry.
Yes, it is.
Amazing ministry. Now, when did you actually start Project Cuddles? How did that come about, and when did that begin?
Okay, Project Cuddle actually started back, it was a concept in 1988, and that was because I had a foster child who was only 3, and every time a patrol unit would go by, he would run and hide.
Oh.
And I said, honey, what's the matter? He goes, I don't want him to take me back to jail. Well, he had been put into foster care because his mother was a prostitute drug addict. And every time the officers would go by, they would say cops and then hide or whatever. So, and then here he's taken, he's put into a strange building, which he doesn't understand is to protect him. He's stripped of his clothes, and bruises are video, cameras taking pictures and all
Of
this.
this 3-year-old baby.
How could he know that he is
trauma.
good?
Yeah.
Right.
And his mom was handcuffed in the seat next to him in the back of the patrol unit. So I had a friend who was an officer, and he came over and became his friend off duty, and then he came over in his patrol unit.
Oh,
and we tried to help
wow.
teach him. But I said I would want something to hug and cuddle. And so my kids and I went out to lunch and decided on the name Project Cuddle. And then eventually, after providing stuffed toys for years and years, it was just set on my heart when we had One Baby Found It, a music company in Yorba Linda, in a file cabinet that had died. And then 2 months
the baby
later,
was left in the
yeah.
file cabinet.
Yeah, and then 2 months later, we had another one in Santa Ana, just the next town over.
That's what you're
that
talking
was
about. The
suffocated.
babies being suffocated.
And
That's
so
what. Yeah.
I knew I had to start it. And then during the time that I was starting the hotline, we actually had 5 more babies in a 1-month period of time found dead. 2 were alive, but out of 5, 3 had died. So
Debbie.
I knew I had to do it. And
How
it
do you
happens-
keep from being on your knees and crying and taking this personal? I mean, it is personal, but oh my goodness,
yeah.
it must be heart-wrenching.
There are times when it has really hit me, or it's or one of those that's our volunteers or our national spokesperson, John Stamos. It's like there's certain situations that will trigger us, and there was one that was twins they were suffocated. Mom gave birth to one little boy in Tennessee, and then she put her hand over his mouth and smothered him. And then after he passed away, the next one was born, and she said, well, that one didn't take as long to die. And
Oh my goodness.
that was my hardest. Whereas with John, it was one here that was in Redondo Beach, I believe. And we had just had a fundraiser the week before, and everybody knew about our number. And yet this girl went to a party, had the baby, and then went back and partied, and the baby died out in the trash. So
Oh my gosh.
Oh boy.
you take it personally, but then you look at all those 706 babies that we
that
have now
you've done.
rescued,
That you've done.
and the families.
Wow.
Like we were featured on Oprah, and it was an amazing day.
How did
because
she contacted you? Just heard from your organization, or did somebody send out a packet?
No, I was kidnapped. Yes, I was kidnapped by John, and
Oh, by
we
John,
want to hear
by
about
John.
John.
Thank
too.
you.
Okay,
Yeah,
I
yeah.
was going to ask about him.
and taken in an undisclosed to an undisclosed destination in a blacked out limo.
Oh, you're kidding.
No, and I ended up with the limo door opening, and Oprah pulled me out.
Oh, what?
That's great.
So
Did they
yeah.
have the camera in your face so that
Oh,
you?
yeah.
Oh,
Oh yeah, it was
That's great.
amazing, and they
my
brought
goodness.
171 of the babies and families that we'd rescued from all over the country.
you
from
didn't
Hawaii
know
to
it?
New- I had no idea. I just thought everybody didn't like me that week because no one would talk to me, no one would text me, no one would. Yeah, I was just like, what have I done? And they go, I gotta go, and it was like they had this whole party put together in 2 weeks of all these girls and women and babies that I had been rescuing
Now,
for 10 years.
say again, how many babies have been saved?
706 babies have now
Oh,
been
congratulations. We need to
706
put that
babies.
applause back on again.
Yeah, so-
Congratulations.
Yeah, yay to
Yeah, you
us.
know what? That's got to keep you focused. Yay! Thank you, Van. Thank you,
delay a
Jamal.
little bit.
No, really, that's got to
Yeah.
keep you. You can't rescue everybody, and God didn't ask you that. He just asked
No.
you to be responsible for the ones that He sent to you.
Right. And we know there's so many more
Oh,
out
yeah.
there.
Oh,
so
gosh.
our goal is just to be able to keep the charity going, flowing, and growing, and to help save more lives and keep more girls from breaking laws and knowing that their children have futures, whether they want to love them or not. There are people out there
There
that
are
will.
people that are out there that will.
Well, let's give your charity plug. If you're just tuning in, we're joined by Debbie, founder and CEO of Project Cuddle. And if you'd like to find out more about her charity, please go online. It's projectcuddle.org. And there you can find out how to donate, how to be a part of her foundation, and a lot of times just even how to volunteer. Because,
Yeah,
this
you were
is
saying that in
this
the room.
ministry
You want to ask
Yes.
about that?
isn't a one-person show.
No.
Yeah.
So
How do you
it's a
get your
three-ring
volunteers?
circus.
How do people volunteer if they want to do it?
If they want to, they can go to projectcuddle.org.
Mm-hmm.
They can download the volunteer forms, fill them out. Please be sure and send in your photo ID too, so we can get you going quicker.
Mm-hmm.
There's opportunities to be volunteer hotline operators. We need volunteers to help with our events. We have one coming up February 9th, so we need people to help with that. We need donations of items
Mm-hmm.
like hotel getaways, fun adventures, things
Is that
like
stuff
that.
you're going to do for the silent auction?
It is for the
Okay.
silent
All
auction.
right.
And then we need volunteers to help in getting the girls to the doctors. Just those simple things. Being a phone friend. Maybe, you can't get out of the house, but you've got a lot of time to spare, and you can be a phone friend for a girl who's sad or frustrated. We have one that wants to be in the fashion world. So it's like trying to get her in tours of the fashion institutes and things like that. That's the kind of thing that can be simple for some people, but it's challenging for us. We need one that needs a dentist right now.
Oh, wow.
So
you mean
if-
like a dentist to be willing to
help
volunteer
her.
to help her?
to volunteer to
Yeah.
help her.
Okay.
And
You have doctors that help out too?
We do have some, but we always are open. You never know. You may think you have nothing to give, but trust me, there is. So they can always call the office and 714-432-9681 and find out, let us know what your talents are.
Mm-hmm.
And we can use those in some way, I'm sure. Right now we have an overabundance of little girls' pajamas between the ages of 6 and 14 size. We have got so many pajamas, about 3,000 pair.
Oh, my
So
goodness.
we have one school that's doing a pajama party, and
Oh.
they're buying a pair for themselves and then buying a second pair for a homeless child. And so
Wow.
we're trying to do just anything to
You're very
help raise funds.
proactive in the
Yeah.
community as well.
Yeah.
Besides your charity, you're very proactive in the community. Let's talk about the rescue families.
We need families that are willing to adopt and love these babies. And I call them rescue families because a lot of times, we're like Kmart and the Blue Light Special.
Mm-hmm.
We're there at the last second. We don't know, is it a boy or a girl? We may not even know the race of the baby, but
Right.
we want to find someone to love that child, or there's drugs involved. And so we need families that are willing to rock and roll, have a home study done, and they can go to our website as well and download the forms, do the information, make sure and write a birth mom letter, write it from your heart, and then help while you're waiting maybe for that special baby to come along in getting the word out to the local community. If there's Planned Parenthoods, take our cards in, because when the girls are too far along for an abortion, they don't have anywhere to go.
Oh,
And
that's
those,
perfect.
Those are the ones most likely to be abandoned.
Now, these families, don't they have to go to an adoption agency? How does that work?
They have to have a home study done, so they can go privately through an attorney, or they
Okay.
can go through an adoption agency. But we need to have that done before they are on board with us. And
So you're affiliated with, and you turn over the paperwork to the adoption?
the family would come to us when their home study is ready,
Uh-huh.
and they would give us a copy of their home study letter and let us know that they're willing and open to accepting what kind of child and what situation. Maybe they need help with shelter, the girl does, and they can help financially with that. Things like that.
Oh, that's awesome. That's
Well,
awesome.
we're going to put some pictures up of a couple of the children that you saved. And there was a great story about Agneson, and I think it was last November.
Oh, Addison, yes.
Addison,
Yes,
Addison.
and we had a wonderful volunteer. Again, volunteers are so important, and so we had a wonderful volunteer, Janet Coleman, that chose to be her support. And so when the birth mother had a problem and needed to get to doctors, she was the one that took her to and from and helped her in an emotionally traumatic situation when she was given some medical information that was very disturbing and sad. And so she was her support. Also, she helped with another girl that was had given birth and had nowhere for Thanksgiving. And so she took her turkey dinner, and then she went and took her shopping. And so, they're such an integral part. We've had girls, I've picked a baby up in a duffel bag in a park.
You're kidding.
No, that was an amazing situation where a girl called and said, I don't want anything to do with it. I could hear the baby screaming in the background. You could tell it was a newborn baby. And she said, figure something out, so I'll start telling you how to get to me. And literally we helped in getting that baby picked up. She had it wrapped in a dirty old towel and got her safely to a hospital and convinced the mother to go as well. And after that, she ended up picking an adoptive family. So she had some control. She'd had no control over her body, but now she could make a decision, a wise decision, on where that child would end up. And we'd like to do that for
Wow,
these
Debbie,
girls.
like I said, what an amazing ministry.
It is amazing. And, the thing that's so interesting is the condition of even the mothers.
Right.
My heart is for abused women, who come from sexual trauma, and that's where my heart goes. And just the state of affairs of the women today and what's going on, that you can, you're kind of like a mama to them.
Yeah, actually, I have one that has me in her phone as Mama Bear.
Oh, wow. See, I didn't know that, but I just feel that. I mean,
Yeah.
you're a family to, and Janet, who's off camera there, but
Yeah.
it's amazing. It's really touching my heart.
Well,
hearing this.
it's like it's exciting. It's like a Thanksgiving. It's like it's not just a family now. It's we end up bringing some of the past girls into the situation, and the family has just grown, and I am a mom to so many of them, and the volunteers become their adoptive moms as well, and so many have had tragic
Oh,
lives.
sure they have.
So-
Sure they have. I mean, it's just the whole situation. But God is faithful. He's putting people in strategic places to help.
He is.
You're
and
His hands.
one day at a time. It's like I always say, a wing and a
right.
prayer by the seat of our pants.
That's
but
what it sounds
that's
like you're
right.
doing.
we do it.
Well, it seems like the ministry has just grown for you. Like I said, you're at 760 babies now.
I think you're going to be 3,000 since those pajamas.
I know. I remember I had a little bottle that was like this thing I got at like Pick and Save or something, and I put bubblegum cigars in.
Oh.
And then we got to the pickle jar, and then the pickle jar was full, and it's like we just don't even do the bubble gum anymore.
He brought all those pajamas to fill them with somebody.
I know.
That's right. That's right. That's right. And now, like, some of your accolades, I know that you've been seen on Oprah, Ricky Lake, and The Talk. What were those experiences
Yeah,
like?
that's a good question.
Besides,
Yeah, we want to kind of,
it's kind of an
hobnob with the stars through you.
It's kind of an adventure because when you're doing those shows, you're in the moment. I remember I had one girl that didn't want anything to do with her baby, and her mom was in the audience, and I was doing the Ricky show. And I do want to do the Ricky show again. So if Ricky's
She's
listening,
sweet.
please, Ricky.
She just seems like a real
5
darling,
times
huh?
we were on her show,
Aw.
and once you're on her show, it's like you're slammed for days with calls of girls needing help. But there was one girl that had seen us on the one show and then came to it, and doggone, her mom was yelling at me in the audience, and I thought we were on Ricky Springer for a minute there because it changed so intensely. But the Springer show, but yeah, it ended up where Ricky has been very supportive of us as well,
And she's got her heart on the women, the young
She
women.
does.
So you're right. That would be a really
And
good.
from my understanding, she's also assisted you in saving quite a few of these babies.
She has been there to get us on the shows and to help us that way. Sissy Spacek, actually, I called one of the first times.
Oh,
when they had
that's
a
my
baby.
girl.
And I was like,
Oh, that's my
"Sissy,
girl,
you're
coal
I
miner's
need your
daughter."
help." Yeah,
She
and
did.
So she gave me some leads on how I could get some help. So I've been very, very fortunate in having people just all across the country and into Canada that help us. And it's always a dauntingly it's almost scary adventure when you're doing these shows because you're going to be hit like a brick wall with situations.
That's what I was going to mention. You go on these shows and yeah, they're celebrities and they're great spokespeople and this and that, but it does give you a platform to really help because after the show,
Yes.
again, you must have been bombarded with phone calls and what a ministry that you're able to have that platform, but at the end of the day, you're actually doing something very, very positive and
Yeah.
good for our society.
Why are you
How is
talking
that?
about a lot of attacks and things when you say
No,
slammed
just
against?
slammed with like you're hit with so many calls.
That's like what you're just saying.
Right.
Yeah.
You're just, and you just never know. Like you have to really be in tune and listen because you may have a volunteer who calls that hotline and she wants to help, but at the end of the day, you've gotten her number and where she lives, and you may end up having her fill out the volunteer paperwork right now because you've got a girl in the same town that needs the help.
Right.
And so, like with the pajama baby, we had a girl who called and she got kicked out in the snow with her 2 other children when her parents found out she was pregnant.
Oh boy.
And
oh
so
boy.
you quickly find people. If you don't have someone, you find someone in her area.
because you have all of this exposure. You're saying so.
Yeah.
Whammo.
Exactly. So it's it's always neat to know you never give up, and that's one thing John says about me is he's
You
learned
got to find
don't
out about
give
him.
up.
Well, I was going to ask you, for listeners and viewers out there, if you're just tuning in, we're joined by Debbie. She has a great charity called Project Cuddles. Now, if somebody's out there listening and somebody's out there in desperate need or just has no other outlet, what would you say to them? How would you
walk us through it.
Yeah, walk us through what they should do in order to have some alternatives.
Basically, they can just call us at 1-888-628-3353. Every pregnancy is kept confidential. We do not judge. If you're hiding it from your family, which is the biggest thing, there's that fear. And what we do is we take you and we hold your hand and we help you get from that bad point to a point of closure where you're proud of the decision that you've made and you know that you're not alone. It's not your secret anymore. So now you're responsible to us as well and accountable for making a wise decision. And if you choose to raise the baby, that's okay. Let's make sure that you have everything in place. But if you choose not to raise that baby, we have wonderful families that are willing to love and adopt that child that can't have children. And they're saying, we'll accept you. In fact, many of them have open adoptions. We have one that's about to deliver.
Wow.
And she will be a part of
the
their
family
parties.
life.
And
I think that's
Thanksgiving
beautiful for the
and-
child.
It is, and it's
When it
like
can work out,
I know
yeah.
for me, I adopted 5, and it's like I have open adoptions with 4 of the 5, and it's so nice because like my 21-year-old son was having a bonfire with 3 of his birth siblings and his birth mom about 3 months ago, and it's like that's so cool. You can never have too many people love you.
Oh boy,
Right.
that's incredible. That's incredible.
Amazing. That's amazing. Once again, we're joined in studio by Debbie with the charity Project Cuddles. You can visit her organization, her charity at projectcuddle.org, and feel free also to volunteer and donate. These children really need our support, our love, and from her heart to yours out there. If you have any questions, comments, please send
Call
us a
us in.
tweet.
Yeah.
Give us a call. Our studio line is 323-247-7443. Send us a tweet directly at Join My House on Twitter.com or Join My House LA Talk Live on Twitter.com as well. We're gonna go to a quick commercial break, and when we come back, we're gonna find out about your spokesperson John Stamos, who has been very proactive in your charity. So join us. Stay tuned.
Come on back.
Hey, are you spending your time or are you wasting your time? Well, kill some time hanging out with Michael Collier, Brooks Jackson, and the whole crew at the Michael Collier Morning Show. I Get Up Late. That's every Tuesday, 3 until 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. If you don't know what that is, you better get on the internet and look it up. And while you're there, go to latalklive.com and check me out.
Hi, this is Demetrius.
And I'm AJ, inviting you to join us every Tuesday at 5:30 for our all-new show, Real Talk with Demetrius and AJ.
We are your alternative to mainstream media's non-discussion of the real issues. No more sound bites, no more talking points, just real talk.
The guests on our show will include a wide array of people from all walks of life: elected officials, politically active celebrities, young leaders, and most importantly, you will all be included in this dialogue that is sure to be provocative and real.
So don't forget to tune in and listen to Real Talk with Demetrius and AJ every Tuesday at 5:30, exclusively on latalklive.com.
You can also catch us on iTunes Radio R&B, Live 365, Radio Flag, and now Stitcher Radio.
Or watch and listen directly at latalklive.com. Reality radio handcrafted for your listening pleasure.
This is LA Talk Live.
And we are more than just talk.
Hi, this is Dr. Levi, your fitness doctor, making a personal house call, inviting you to join me Wednesday at 10 a.m. Pacific for my all-new show, The Dr. Levi Show. Join us as we discuss fitness, health, and well-being, including emotional and spiritual health. So don't forget to tune in to The Dr. Levi Show every Wednesday at 10 a.m. Pacific, exclusively on latalklive.com and the Talk Live Broadcast Network. You can also catch us on iTunes, Radio R&B, or watch us on Ustream.tv, or catch us on the Live 365 network, and now on Radio Flag and Stitcher Radio. Reality radio handcrafted for your listening pleasure. This is LA Talk Live, and we are more than just talk.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Joy in My House, an inspirational reality radio show where nothing is left unsaid.
And no one is insignificant who says it.
We're joined here by a special in-studio guest,
Very
Debbie.
special.
Debbie has a charity called Project Cuddle, and you can visit her website at projectcuddle.org. She assists in pregnancies for young ladies, or not even young ladies, but ladies that are struggling and are in conflict regarding their pregnancies.
Yeah.
Debbie, welcome once again to our show.
Thank you so much for having me today. It's a pleasure being here.
Real blessing.
Now, you've had great success in this ministry. You've saved over 760 babies, I believe we mentioned earlier. That is quite a feat. Not only that, you've been on quite a few shows, the Oprah Show, the Ricky Lake Show, and recently on The Talk, which has given you a great platform to continue this ministry. And I do want to hear about this amazing connection that you were able to connect John Stamos to your
Yes.
organization. Tell us how that happened and how that came about.
Well, that's a 21-year journey. What happened was I was doing my first event for Project Cuddle when we were stuffed toys and patrol units, and I did at the Biltmore Hotel. I had a fundraiser, and I was calling it the Celebrity Ball, and needed celebrities. Well, I didn't know who John Stamos was, but there was a young man named Brian Patrick Clark. Somehow I had infiltrated to his name, and he said, well, there's this really nice lady that's done quite a few fundraisers. Her name is Loretta Stamos. Why don't you contact her? And I'm like, okay. And I took her number down and I called, and she said, well, gosh, you sound like you really need some help. I said, oh, I really do need some help. So she said, well, me and my daughters and I will, we'll help you do this event. And the silent auction then ended up with her helping do it, and the Beach Boys had a signed guitar.
Oh, wow.
Then Bette Midler donated a gold record, and so then I met another dear friend through that whole thing as well. And so it was mostly done over the phone, and ended up where Loretta and I became friends after that event. I helped her when she was doing an event, and we became fast friends. And then fast forward, I think about 10 years, and John saw I had changed my mission from stuffed toys for patrol units to now saving babies from abandonment. And I remember we were honoring him for the help he had given us through all the things he had donated over the years and things. Once I still didn't really know who he was that well. I'd never seen the show Full House. So.
I have.
I was busy raising babies.
Cutie, major cutie.
You have 3 or 4 in diapers at one time.
That's
it's
right.
Like,
you had your own Full House.
Yeah,
that's right.
You were the star.
Very true.
Your husband was John Stamos.
Yeah. So it turns out where he's coming to this event, and Bob Saget came. It was really a nice dinner, and there was supposed to be one of our girls that was pregnant. She had just given birth, and she had twins, and she was supposed to come. Well, she had eclampsia, which her blood pressure was off the Richter scale.
Yeah, that's really serious.
She ended up in intensive care. I drove her there 2 days beforehand. And she couldn't come. So John said afterwards, well, where is she? And I said, well, she's at the hospital. He says, let's go see her. And I said, no, you can't. He goes, no, Debbie, I need to go see her. I feel so bad. And I said, John, you'll kill her. And he says, what? And I said, if her blood pressure is sky high now, and John Stamos walks in the room, you will kill her. And he goes, oh, okay. So he got it. And so 3 months later, she spent 6 weeks in ICU.
Wow.
And after that, I took her out and we had dinner at the Palms, and it was so nice because he started to, she sat down and she scooted over thinking he was going to sit next to her. And he said, no, Debbie, you scoot over. And so I was sitting on the other side. He says, I want to sit across from you so I can see how beautiful you are.
Aww.
And this is a girl who had been a full exotic nude stripper prior to giving birth to these twins, been in a domestic violence situation. And we had helped her. She volunteered for Project Cuddle, and she ended up doing clerical work and learning how to answer phones. And she ended up getting a good job after that. Someone had donated a vehicle to us after she got her license, and she got insurance. We helped her in earning enough hours to get her insurance. Then we handed her the keys to the car so she could be responsible, and she's doing very well now.
Well, now Ty and Loretta. Is Loretta?
So Loretta is still one of my dear friends, and she is a friend, and
Are they
John
married,
is
or
a great friend, and
who's
so Loretta is John's mom.
Oh,
Loretta Stamos.
Oh, that's so cool.
We've been friends for 21 years, and it's kind of funny because after John ended up doing that dinner with us, he said at the end of the dinner, so what's my title gonna be? And I'm like, well, what do you want it to be? And so the two of them got talking, the birth mom and he, and they're like, hot dog and cool dude rad man. And I'm like, I'm writing all this on a napkin.
Oh my goodness.
So then I got business cards made with it saying hot dog and cool dude rad man. And eventually he did our school video to educate across the nation, and he got Mary Stuart Masterson to be involved as well. And we did that video, and it has educated a lot of kids on not abandoning your baby. Since then, he's gone on, and we've done the Oprah show. We've done many talk shows. He's been on Ellen show twice. One of them I call the Ellen and John baby because the girl and the adoptive family found us through the Ellen show. So the baby is safe and in a loving home. And now we're, it's like we're just finishing filming a new video for the schools, which will go nationwide. He says, Deb, this is going to be bigger because it's going to go viral. And I'm like, okay.
I'm sure it will.
And when he says it, it's true. So that's why I need a real good base of volunteers for this coming up. But it's got Kristen Davis, it's got Denise Richards.
Oh, goodness.
And then John
All
Stamos
speaking.
and we filmed up at his house
Mhm.
like a month and a half ago,
Mhm.
and it was just really great. And then we filmed some of the girls. They told their stories from their angle and what it meant to them and how their lives have changed. And we had one that actually murdered her baby that we interviewed, that we talked to, and how her life has changed since that tragic death. So, it was a very draining time.
Oh, I bet.
But it is going to make for the best video. In fact, the producers who did the Oikos commercial, there was one in the Super Bowl with some girl who wants the yogurt and John won't give her the yogurt.
Oh, I've seen that. And
Yeah.
she beats him up, or
She
headbutts
him.
Yeah, who is she in the?
I don't know who she really is, but I just know she's in the Oikos commercial.
I know.
And
I've seen that. I'm like,
and,
wow.
Yeah, and so those producers are the ones that did our video. So it's going to be a great project. Andrew and Remy, they just did an incredible job of filming and spent 5 days intensely with me, following me through thick and thin. And so we'll see what this project is. It's going to come out probably next month, but I can't wait because anything they touch is gold.
And once this comes out, like you said, you're going to generate so much people giving you a call, and especially
Yeah.
because you're going to get so much exposure. Now, like you were talking about needing volunteers, what does it take to save a baby?
It takes about $2,500 to save a life. And it takes volunteers being there to answer the hotline. It takes volunteers helping and getting them to doctors, and just being support there. They can be a coach sometimes in the birth of a baby. I know that, Janet's done it. We've got so many that
what a
have.
sweetheart she is.
And she is. And it's like,
I want to say hi to her
Kenna-
because she's been like a real rock for you, hasn't she?
Yes, she's
Her and her
the
husband.
Louise, Thelma and Louise.
I
It's
loved
like,
it. That's what you were saying.
She's my Louise. So, she.
Just don't you two go off a cliff now.
Okay. And I haven't seen the movie, so I
well, that's what I'm saying.
Maybe
at the
I don't
end,
want to see
yeah,
that.
At the
part,
end,
yeah.
it's not too happy. It's when you fly up into with the babies and be happy.
Oh, okay.
Well, if you're just tuning in, we're joined here in studio guest Debbie with Project Cuddle, as seen on Oprah, as seen on the Ricky Lake Show and the talk show on CBS. Please go to her website, projectcuddle.org, and donate. Now, she has a great fundraiser right now going on.
And that calendar made me cry
She
when I
has
looked
had
at it. It's
a calendar
incredible.
made, Project Cuddles here, and John Stamos is her spokesperson for the show, for her fund, for her charity. And there's pictures of here. Explain the calendar, Debbie.
Well, basically, it is the year in the life of Project Cuddle, and I grabbed John during one of our parties, and Miguel photographed that. It's like, come on, John.
Here's a
we're
great
doing
picture
it.
of you.
And that's me when I was 8 years old at the orphanage in Mexico.
That's so
when I
really
decided
neat.
that this is what I was going to do. And then
Show
one
the
of the
pictures
little
of the
ones.
babies.
Yeah, we have
Show
so
that
many.
first baby.
Our first baby in the calendar.
Oh, Sarah.
Oh, Sarah. And her mom came to us when she was 8 months pregnant, no prenatal, and was not in love with that child at all, had nothing planned for the baby, didn't know how to attach to the child. We found out later that young woman had actually been living in Iraq, and that baby had, her first child had been killed. And so she was afraid to attach and love that second child.
Wow.
And then that particular one you were just showing is
you're going really-
a girl who was 15 years old, had no prenatal until she called us December 16th of last year. I remember the call. And a volunteer took the hotline call, and I happened to be in the room. And she gave birth just a couple months later. We had gotten her to the doctors eventually, but she did most of her contact through texting, and her parents didn't know till she was in the hospital and delivering that she was even pregnant. Now, she had
That's
a
amazing.
mother that was volatile, and so that's why she was afraid all that time of letting anyone know. And afterwards, we went to the hospital, and the dad says, now I get it. I understand why she wanted to move in with me. I'm going to help her in raising this baby.
So he was the grandfather in that picture.
Yes, and
I
he
was
was
wanting to
so
ask you about
shocked
that.
and dumbfounded.
Oh,
as
but
to,
he stepped up to the plate.
Yes, and like I said in the wording there, I think it says, what
Is
does
that
it
her?
say?
Is that the mother?
Yeah.
The young girl.
The young mother. And then I think it says he woke up in the morning a father, and to his surprise, he went to bed a grandfather.
He
Isn't
went
that
to
beautiful?
sleep that night as a new grandfather.
Yeah.
That's
Wow.
beautiful. So it's showing that men
And
can
he's
step
supportive.
in, not just the women. Yeah, he's stepping up, you know.
And now he says, what do you fundraiser wise? And I'm start telling him about our different fundraisers, and he's like, he wanted to know how he could help. So he's talking about he has a Harley, and he's saying maybe they could do a race and
I bet they
ride.
would.
Like a Harley ride.
And it's like, that's the kind of thing. It's like, if you hate hearing about babies being abandoned, it happens 57 times a day across our country.
Wow.
And $1 can make a difference if everybody out there
Why don't you talk to the camera?
does
talk to
that.
the ladies out
It's
there.
like,
yeah.
you need to help us. It's like we're little but mighty, but we can't do it by ourselves. And the fact that we're a staff of just 3. And I probably put in between 18 and 20 hours a day, and that's not a joke. That's the reality of my world, and it is my passion, and I'm not asking others to have that as their passion. But if you hate hearing about a baby in a trash can, this is where the help is truly needed, and it helps these children to stay alive, and it keeps us from having to pay through our taxes for the mother to be incarcerated and for the jail and the other children she may have to be in foster
It's
care.
a win-win any way you look at it if you come out and
It
support.
absolutely
It is
is.
projectcuddle.org, and you can donate to the cause, donate to her charity, and you do receive this calendar.
It's like
correct?
$10, right, for a
Yes,
donation.
a
for
$10
it.
donation or
The
more, we will send
donation.
you
It'll
that.
steal your heart. I
And
mean, just really the pictures and the stories behind the
There's,
babies.
each one has a story. You'll learn there's 2 babies in September that were both hidden. The brothers gave birth at home, and
September?
one girl, September,
Okay.
one was safety pinned. The umbilical cord was safety pinned, and then she called our hotline. The other one was hidden in a trailer for 2 weeks,
Oh.
and then she called
Grace
us.
and Nikki.
Grace and Nikki.
Oh,
And
So please come out and support Project Cuddles. These children really need our love,
beautiful.
our support. And if you can support financially, it's definitely something that, if we're blessed, we got to give those blessings out as well, especially financially. Like you said, it takes $2,500 to save a baby. And there's a
Or
long
be a
process
volunteer
that
for
goes-
free.
Yeah, or just donate
Yeah.
your time. Definitely donate your time. Now you have a great event coming up that I really want to talk about, which is Dinner by the Bay, February 9th at the Hilton in Long Beach. It's something that we will definitely be
We
attending.
will be there.
Well, we
Yes.
changed our theme. It was going to be denim and diamonds like last year, and John said, no, we need to kick it up a notch. So we are going flower power, and we are going back to the 70s.
Yeah, my era.
So, yeah, and I was
I'm gonna bring my fro and just
Yeah.
van and bring,
Jamal.
come
we
on,
can use
Jamal,
the words
come
cool
on,
and groovy, and So yeah, so we're going back, flashbacking to the 70s, and so it is going to be a lot of fun. It is family oriented. I mean, you can bring your kids. It's
Well, I'm
kind of
glad you
neat.
said that.
John. We usually have a step and repeat beforehand, and John will stand there and do pictures with the families. You make a donation, and then you get your picture taken with him, and all that goes. And Miguel Pola is the photographer.
Oh, your
And
buddy, your buddy.
So it is a really awesome night, and then there's lots of silent auction items, and there's going to be lots of dancing. We have a band called Boogie Night.
Is it food too?
Lots of food.
Okay.
We'll have appetizers, and then we'll have a full great dinner, and it is you have to buy your tickets ahead. It sells out. We start selling tickets December 1st.
And how much are they?
They are $95 for the general seats. For children, it's $75. And if you want the VIP experience, that sells out usually first.
Oh, I bet.
And you get a
always
swag
Well,
bag.
Oprah and all the gang, I'm sure they.
Yeah. So that one's fun, and that is $150 a piece.
That's not
and
a
you can't
lot,
buy a
especially for
table.
something like this, you know.
Yeah, to support a cause like this.
And
a
the
charity
proceeds
like
go
this.
to your
Directly to Project Cuddle to help
Okay.
us in saving babies from abandonment. And the next time you hear about a baby being abandoned, you're going to think of me, and we have to stop that. So please help us in getting the word out. Share it with your neighbors and your schools. That's another thing volunteers can do, is they can get our free DVDs that we have and handouts and get them in those local clinics and get them into the schools and the school nurses.
When you said your dad is right now out speaking at churches,
Yes,
so
he's there
getting to
right
know,
now.
so people can do that.
And I know my dad is, and I will speak at churches. It's like, let me know. My father is the one who helped underwrite the cost of this calendar because he believes in the cause. And, it's like he's 83
I think he
years
believes
old.
in you too.
Oh, he's
Yeah.
83.
83. And
Go
so,
ahead.
you've got dad taking care of my feeble mama. And
Yeah, your
yet
mama.
he's
Let's
doing this
shout
in his
out to
free
your
time.
mama.
Yay, Scotty and Rick. So love them both.
And Mom, get well, get back on your feet and be at peace.
Yeah, Mama fell yesterday and broke her hip. So
Yeah.
it's
And that's
been a
why,
long night.
I want to say, before we wrap
the
this
show.
up, just your heart. And I think the fact that you went alongside, not even knowing who John Stamos was, his mother, so it wasn't about you being a celebrity hopper and trying to get in with the people. It was your heart helping out with her charity.
Right.
And then her son having such, see, God gives back.
He does.
And you have a
He does.
beautiful heart.
Well, thank you.
Beautiful heart.
Thank you
Keeps
for
me out of
joining
trouble
us.
most
Thank
days.
you for joining us, Debbie.
Thank you.
Once again, ladies and gentlemen, this is Joy in My House, and we have a great inspirational guest here, Debbie, with Project Cuddle. She has a great event coming up December 2nd. December
No.
1st. The tickets go on sale. Go to
Yeah.
projectcuddle.org and become a part of it. Donate, volunteer, whatever you can give. These children really need our love and support. And on February 9th is her event at the Hilton in Long Beach. If you have any questions or comments, you can tweet us and we'll have all our information on our website, or you can go to projectcuddle.org. Once again, Debbie, what a blessing it is to have you on the show. And thank you, Lolita,
Thank
for
you.
co-hosting here with me.
Is it time for her to just appeal to the girls one more time?
Yeah, if you want to say anything to anybody out
To
there
any
who's
girls
viewing
in-
or listening.
In particular, to the young ladies or fathers involved too?
Right. Sometimes you think that your story is the worst story we've ever heard, and you'd be amazed. You're not alone. You won't be alone, and no secret is too big. Every single situation we have probably heard, and we want you to know that there is support for you, and we can help you with medical care. We can help you in getting to shelter if you need that. If you're dealing with drug issues, we can try and help you and guide you in the right directions. Maternity clothes, the simple things that we all take for granted, we can help you with. But you have to ask. And that's the number one thing. If you don't ask, how can we help you? So please call us at 1-888-628-3353.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is Joy in My House with inspirational guest today, Debbie with Project Cuddles. Please come out and support. We want to thank you. Thank you for being here.
Yeah.
Deborah, Lolita, thank you
Love
for
you,
helping me
Joel.
co-host. Love you
Love
too.
you, Debbie and Janet.
And love your heart, Janet out there. We want to
And love
thank
you.
Van Eric and Jamal,
And
for our
Jamal,
producers.
yes.
Please tune in next week
Couldn't do it
as we
without him.
will have Zorro, Lenny Kravitz's drummer. He's drummed with many people. He'll be joining us from the East Coast via Skype. That is next Sunday at noon on LA Talk Live. This is Joy in My House. Have a blessed day, ladies and gentlemen. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Look over here. God said I can make you mighty, show you how to hold your head up high. The servant said I'm from the weakest clan. Lord, I think you found the wrong guy. God said I don't take no when I call you a warrior. Then it's so. God said, I'm ready to get your land and get the enemy out. Get prepared, grab the truth. Everyone mount up and crash your jars and shout. Hey, God saw the plan, there were too many men. He said, I'll do this by the power of my hand. Send the boys and the scaredy cats home. You and I can do this thing alone. When the servant got to the end, he was standing there with 300 men.